Welcome back to Axis and Allies, the anniversary edition. It's the U.S. turn, and we're on to turn number 30. One more episode, and I will tie for my longest series ever. I think it's going to go past that, but that's fine. That's okay. All right, the U.S. has 42 IPCs to spend, and let's figure out what it is they want to spend those 42 IPCs on. Okay, the U.S. will buy or produce 2 armored units, 3 submarines, and 2 transports. And that's going to be what they're producing. And yeah, then it's going to be Germany's turn tomorrow. But let's figure out first what the U.S. is going to do for their attacks. It's tempting to send the entire fleet over to Japan and try and do as much damage as possible. The only problem here is the aircraft carrier hits on a 1. It's not very good. Aircraft hits on a 3, and the destroyers hit on a 2, and they have 4 Japanese aircraft, plus 2... I don't know if we could do more than 1 or 2 hits, but even if the U.S. went in here and even got 2 hits, that's going to knock out 2 aircraft right off the Japanese, and that's 20 IPCs. However, if we lose a carrier, an aircraft, and 2 destroyers, we're going to be losing a lot more IPCs than that. So I don't know if we're going to go ahead and just commit what's left of that fleet. You know what? They are going to. They're going to go in here, the 2 destroyers, and the aircraft carrier, and the and the 1 fighter squadron. This is probably going to end horribly. However, we're kind of into the end game, and the U.S. has to do whatever they can to disrupt the Japanese at this point. All right, that's one attack that's going to happen. Let's see if there's anything else. All right, Italy has been bouncing around the world, absorbing places. It's time for the U.S. to put a stop to that. I didn't think anyone could get here, but you know what? The American bomber that's in Libya can make it, because they can go 1, 2 into C Zone 34, 3 to 32, 4 to the transport in C Zone 29. That leaves them 2 left to fly, and with 2 they can land in South Africa. So that's pretty good. Alright, let's see if they're going to help out the UK with a D-Day invasion. Very likely. Yep, it's D-Day Part 3. Alright, we are leaving the destroyer and the submarine here, but they're taking 4 transports. I'm going to put, I guess, they're going to be in the same sea zone as all the British fleet. Right off the coast of France. So there's going to be 4 transports there, which means they're going to come over with 4 infantry, 2 armored units, whoa, as they slip out of my fingers, and 2 artillery as well coming in here. But that's going to be it. So these guys are sitting here. And yeah, we're going to do some non-combats after that. All right, another landing in France, the 3rd one. Let's take a look. Let's do the sea battles first. Well, this one's a no-brainer. The transport is just sunk by the bomber fleet. So finally, after 30 turns of the game, the Allies take out the 1 Italian transport. So it is no more. So they can sit there on Madagascar, possibly for the rest of the game, with their armored unit, or their artillery unit, and claim victory there. All right, let's get over to the Japanese mainland there, and we're going to have that sea battle. Oh man, I just have a feeling that's going to end very horribly, but we're going to see how much damage the U.S. can do to the aircraft carrier fleet of the Japanese. Which now I'm thinking about is probably a very bad idea, but what they're going to try. They're going to give it a try. They're going to give the best U.S. try. All right, we have 1 aircraft carrier hitting at a 1. No. So good thing we rolled the 6 for that one. We have 2 destroyers. They hit on 2s or less. Okay, so there's 1 hit. That's 1 aircraft going down in flames. And we have a fighter hitting on a 3 or less. Yes! Oh man, this is so perfect. 2 hits. That's about as much as we could expect. And now, are the Japanese going to sink everything? Possibly. They have 2 aircraft carriers hitting on a 2 or less. Oh boy, yeah, this is... Americans are going to take 2 hits, and they have 4 aircraft hitting on 4s or less, and they only get 1 more, so that's 3 hits against So 2 hits against the Japanese and 3 hits against the American fleet. And you know what? That's pretty incredible because, so 2 hits against the Japanese. Oh, do they want to drop a carrier? Yeah, they're going to drop one of the carriers. One of the carriers is going down, and one of the aircraft is going to be going down. So carrier and an aircraft gone. But sadly, the U.S. has to lose 3 units. They're going to lose the 2 destroyers. They're also going to have their aircraft carrier sunk, which means they can't retreat anywhere. So they're just going to keep pressing on. And I'm pretty sure you can do that. This is a whole battle going on. So the U.S. is going to attack one more time. Come on, 3 or less. And they get a 2, so they get 1 more hit against the Japanese. And they're probably going to go down in flames now because the Japanese have an aircraft carrier hitting at 2 or less, and it gets a 6, and 3 aircraft hitting at 4 or less. Oh wow, they got 1 hit, which is enough to take out the American fighter, but we get 1 more hit against Japan. Wow. Okay, so the American fighter's gone, and 1 more hit against Japan. They will lose an aircraft. So, bottom line is the U.S. lost their aircraft carrier with 1 on board, both destroyers, but all that's left in Japan now is 1 loaded aircraft carrier. And yeah, the Pacific Fleet for the U.S. is no more. However, they did some damage, and that's what they wanted to do. Alright, over to the mainland in Europe there for D-Day Part 3. Alright, it's D-Day Part 3. Except the U.S. have a try this time. They have 4 infantry, 2 artillery, 2 armored units landing on the beaches of France. Okay, 2 infantry will be hitting at 1s, because they're not supported by artillery. That's nothing. We've got now 4 hitting at 2, so 2 infantry matched up with the 2 artillery. 4 dice hitting on a 2 or less. Oh, that's 3 hits. Wow, the artillery and infantry there did a fine job. And they also have 2 armored units coming in hitting at 3 or less. And that's 2 more hits. Basically, that's wiped out all of the Italian defense in France. Gone. But Italy gets a defense roll, so they're going to be rolling 4 dice, hitting on a 2 or less. And they get 3 hits. Wow, that was pretty powerful. 3 hits back for the Italians. That's going to take 3 of the U.S. troops away. However, you guessed it, the U.S. now is in control of France, which means, holy moly, the U.S. Is going to go up 6. Let me get their little token out here. They have taken over France. So the U.S. goes up 6. They are at 42. They are going to 48. And Germany is dropping 6 from 20 back down to 14. Wow. Just wow. Okay, non-combat moves. Let's do those next. Well, the only place the bomber can fly, well actually, yeah, the only place it can actually safely reach is 1-2 is South Africa. So we've got a American bomber in South Africa. Okay, it's all good. Let's see if we want any more movement for the U.S. troops. I think the U.S. is going to move their infantry into Egypt and their artillery, and they're going to take their aircraft and move it to Morocco, Algiers. That's where it's going to go. All right, that's some non-combat there. And now we got a bunch of non-combat up around eastern Canada and eastern U.S. All right, non-combat here. We have a sub and a destroyer are going to move to Sea Zone 12. We have a destroyer that's going to move here to 12. So we got 2 destroyers and a sub now in Sea Zone 12. And the 2 transports are going to move up to eastern Canada. And all of the troops here, we're going to have the 6 infantry, 5 infantry, the armored unit, and the artillery are going to move up to Canada. There we go. And now it is time to place units. So yes, the U.S. will place 2 armored units in eastern U.S. and they're going to place 2 transports there. And they also have 3 submarines to place. Yep, the U.S. is going to be popping down 3 submarine units over here in western U.S. So they're building up their sub-fleet again. And I should say we can put down 10 units here, and we could put down 12 units in eastern U.S. They only put down 4. Okay, the U.S. will collect their massive 48 IPCs. Holy jumping. And we'll call it an episode for today. Alright, well, that's going to wrap up the USA's turn, collecting 48 IPCs. They got a pretty good hold on France now. They got an infantry, 2 artillery, and 2 armored units on France. Germany goes next, though, and yeah, Germany has some decisions to make, and I don't know, they're getting kind of squeezed, and then the UK's on the verge of taking in 4 more tanks, another infantry, artillery, and they got a couple bombers, too, so things are going to get heated pretty severely coming up. So thanks so much for watching along, and we'll see you tomorrow for the continuation. Up next will be Germany once again. We're going to see what they can do. And like I said, once a major power falls, I think we're going to call it a game. But we'll probably have another, I don't know, half a dozen episodes to go. So hang in there. It's going to be Christmas soon. We'll finish off by then. So thanks so much. I'll hope to see you tomorrow for the continuation with Germany.